Well, our moms think we're funny.
Hey everybody, this is Turk 182.
And I'm Acomi.
Alright, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast, So Our Moms Think We're Funny. And today we are talking about, actually a movie that we watched a while back, but unfortunately didn't get a chance to podcast on it as soon as we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it today.
Oh yeah, and that movie is Deep Rising.
Yes. So Deep Rising is a teenage movie we saw on cinema. No, wait, sorry. I was thinking of the Spy Who Sexed Me Again. No, Deep Rising is an awesome movie starring Famke Janssen and Treat Williams and let's just start this again. All right, beep. All right, and so we're gonna be talking about Deep Rising. Deep Rising is an awesome movie starring Treat Williams and Famke Janssen. Also has Wes Studi in it, and was it Kevin? What's his name? It's not Kevin O'Rourke, is it?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I really don't remember the cast at all because they weren't people I knew from other movies.
Oh yeah. So
It's such a good movie though.
and because it has a lot of good people in it. Doesn't it have the guy that played Kano from Mortal Kombat in it?
Yes, it did.
And it has Jaimin Hunsu is in it. He was one of the mercenaries.
yeah, it was.
And then has Jason. Oh shit, what's the guy's name? Jason. I can't remember, but he's the guy from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen that played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
remember you
in
telling me that.
Yeah. So anyway, so Deep Rising is this awesome movie that was made by it's not Paul W.S. Anderson. Stephen he's the guy that made the Mummy movies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up his name now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Son of a gun.
You were thinking of Paul W.S. Anderson because we also watched Event Horizon that weekend.
Yes, we watched Deep Event Horizon, and it was again sounds like a porno, Wade.
Yes.
But I love the losers. Okay, and here it is. I actually started typing in Deep Event Horizon, which just shows just wow. It's not even that late at night either. It's just can't keep it together.
Just a smidgen of drinking.
It's just a smidgen.
Mild, really.
If we told people how much we'd actually had to drink versus like how much we're fucking up, right? They'd be like, "What a bunch of damn lightweights,
A bunch of pussies." I've usually got a pretty decent. Yeah.
Kevin J. O'Connor. There we go. Wes Studi, who I already mentioned. Here we are. Jason Fleming. Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually like Jason Fleming a lot.
Yeah.
He actually, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy that actually found, little baby Benjamin Button on his doorstep and took him in. Yep, there he is.
There it is.
Yeah. Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It really wasn't that curious. Oh, yeah. He plays Azazel in X-Men First Class.
Oh, cool.
He's got this really cool scene in his Transporter 2 when he reaches into his pocket. He's like, hey, Transporter, got something for you. He reaches in his pocket and he pulls it and he flips him off. It's just fantastic. But I really like him in as Jekyll and Hyde in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I love that movie anyway. And then it also has Cliff Curtis in it, who I actually really like as an actor. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is on, is it going to show it here? Oh, he's in Live Free and Die Hard, which as part of the Die Hard trilogy, which I really do like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not the Die Hard quadrilogy, which I really like.
The Last Airbender. Interesting.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I think he plays Ozai.
I will never forgive Shyamalan.
Oh yeah, he did. He
Ozai.
played Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah, I will never forgive Shyamalan for The Last Airbender.
No,
That movie was
no.
fucking abysmal.
It was just.
Just horrible.
Yeah. Stephen Sommers. There we go.
Huh.
So who also did the Mummy movies and stuff, which is why Kevin J. O'Connor is in it. You know, who's also in the Mummy movies and stuff. And then we have Clifton Powell. Something about him is telling me that he's passed away. Clifton Powell.
Go back up to the top of his name.
It won't tell you there. Yeah.
I figured
This just have a full description of like the people, but now it doesn't tell you shit about them.
Bummer.
Anyway, for some reason I'm thinking that he's passed away. But yeah, so anyone who's never seen Deep Rising, let me tell you right now, it is an awesome movie. And when I say it's an awesome movie, what I mean by that is that it is so much freaking fun, dude.
Yeah.
So Deep Rising is basically about this cruise ship called the Argonautica, right? That is on its maiden voyage. It's this big, huge luxury cruise ship, and something happens to the ship and it becomes dead at sea. But at the same time, Treat Williams' character, who's like this kind of like boat for hire, has been hired by these mercenaries to go out there and capture and like basically pirate this boat in the middle at sea. And they get out there, and when they get there, they find the boat completely empty.
Yeah.
But then you find out the boat's not empty. It's got something in it, and it turns out to be this huge, monstrous squid. It has these really wicked, like, mutated tentacles that travel all throughout the ship and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're stuck on it because their boat's fucked up, this boat's fucked up, and it's just so much fun.
Oh, yeah, and, like, they don't have access to, like, the repair tools that they need because the squid's like guarding that too, and so it's like really hard for them to get their stuff fixed. It's really, really good. It's you know, it's a monster chase movie, but it's a really good monster chase movie.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to say it. It's like, you know, if you're gonna say, when you're talking about a movie like this, is be able to say, like you said, it's a monster chase movie, right? Yeah. So that really sets it up. So you're like, this isn't a good movie at all, but it's a good monster chase. Oh yeah, it's a good monster chase movie. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I love the bits of humor that are in it, especially the ones that come from Kevin O'Connor's character.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he is great. And a lot of that, especially when he's always like, you know, bitching or whatever about something, and he calls me as like, and he's like, okay, fine, well, I'll do it, you know. Yeah. And of course when he his final scene with Wes Studi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Should we spoil that? Should we just give like a little spoiler warning or just?
Yeah, I think we can. We can.
So spoiler warning. Which I mean, if you guys have gotten this far into our podcast series, then you know that when we're talking about a movie, we're gonna spoil the hell out of it.
Oh yeah, we're talking about it, so we have to, right?
Yeah, really. And plus, you know, it was like what, late '80s, early '90s?
Early '90s.
Early '90s. So yeah, I mean, it was 1993. It's, you know, it's past the realm of spoiler warnings. Yeah, so so that scene, oh man, I don't remember any of the characters' names now because it's been like a month since we've seen it.
All right, well, let me look up Deep Event Horizon again. We can go over the. It had a really cute Asian girl in it too.
Oh, yeah, I loved her.
Yeah, she was nice. There we go. All right, so we've got Treat Williams' character, who is John Finnegan, who they just refer to as Finnegan.
Right.
Famke Janssen's character, Trillian St. James. I really don't even know if we knew her name.
No, and I remember us having that discussion. We were like, did they ever say what her name was? And I don't think they ever did.
The guy that built the boat, Anthony Held, who plays Simon Canton. Kevin O'Connor, who plays Joey. And it says his name is Joey Tooch Pantucci, but I never hear them call him Tooch. They just always call him Joey.
Yeah,
Because even in the end, when they're like, Joey, and he's like, fine, whatever. So why give him a nickname that you don't use?
Yeah. I have no idea.
West Studi is Hanover.
Hanover, okay. Hanover Fist.
Yeah, calling Hanover Fist. Jason Fleming is Mulligan. Jaimin Hunsu is Viva. Please write these down because we're not going to go back over.
Yeah, no.
Mamuli was Cliff Curtis, and Clifton Powell was Missouri. And then Trevor Goddard, T. Ray Jones, right?
Ooh.
And there he is.
There he is on
Mortal Kombat as Kano. Testramite. Now, I remember reading that he committed suicide, but when I was watching the Mortal Kombat thing on Cinemassacre, I think they said that he died in some kind of like you know, other thing or whatever, but it wasn't suicide. But I remember reading that he committed suicide. But anyway, but yeah, and it's weird, like on this thing that we're looking at here, the picture they show of him, he's like all kind of clean cut looking and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like a picture of like he's like you would find on like a website, corporate website, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
it's like nice blue background, immaculate suit and tie.
Yeah, like it was a picture of like, you know, and you know our executive in charge of finance, Trevor T. Ray Jones Goddard. But so Anyway, so as you find out throughout the movie, so once they all get on the ship and, and Treat Williams' character, Jimmy Finnegan starts to put things together, and you've got, in this case, you've got a bunch of kind of people working counterintuitive to one another. Famke Janssen's character, Trillian, is, she's actually a thief. And the reason she was spared is because she gets caught in the very beginning and she gets locked up in, like, their pantry. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when the squid attacks, she's spared because she's locked away from everyone else. The bad guy, who's actually the guy that that created the ship and all that kind of stuff, it's Simon Canton. So Canton, he invested so much money in the ship that it was never going to turn a profit. Yeah, yeah. It was going to be, it was like, $500 million or whatever. But even if they ran it every day at maximum capacity or whatever, it was never going to turn a profit. So what he was going to do was he'd hire the mercenaries to come aboard, steal everything they can, then they were going to scuttle the ship, and he was going to get his money back on the insurance. Yeah, yeah. And so he disabled the ship, stranded it at sea for the pirates to be able to find, but he disabled it at the wrong place, and there was this huge monstrous squid that then comes in and devours everyone, except for him and a handful of people. Then, Finnegan and he brings the mercenaries there, and some shit happens, and then they're like, the only way they can escape is to fix their boat, but they got to get the tools off of the Argonautica, and then the mercenaries are trying to go through with their plan because they're mercenaries, they want money, but then they realize, well, wait, we can't really get any money, but then Canton was going to double cross them anyway, yeah, and so then just shit's just going everywhere. Oh yeah, yeah. But throughout the whole thing, you've got Treat Williams just being completely kind of calm throughout it all, which was kind of interesting to see that he just stays this kind of like just relaxed character throughout the whole thing. Oh yeah, he's very deadpan throughout the whole thing. Yeah. It's great. And then Joey is just very hyper. But anyway, so they end up splitting up into teams to try to do what they need to do. And Joey ends up getting teamed up with Wes Studi's character, who's the head of the mercenaries, Hanover. Hanover, yeah. And of course, I think what pissed Hanover off more than anything was he got teamed up with Joey. Right. And then when they encounter the squid at one point, Joey grabs a grenade from Hanover's belt and throws it, but didn't pull the pin. Right. And he was like, "You didn't tell me to do that." And wasn't Hanover like, "I shouldn't have to"? Yeah, right. So then they end up getting separated, and then when Joey finds Hanover later, he is in the process of being eaten by the squid. So the tentacles of the squid have mouths on it, open up and like swallow everything, and then I guess it transfers it back to the main body of the squid. Yeah. And Hanover's in the process of being like swallowed up, and he's holding on to like this blackjack table as where like the lower half of his body is like slowly being like sucked in by the squid thing. And then Joey goes over to him and gives him a gun and says, "Don't say I never gave you anything," right? Yeah. And goes to walk away, and Hanover uses like the gun and shoots at Joey. And is like, "You asshole!" And then by this point, the tentacle is like up to like his upper chest. Yeah, and he puts the gun to his head and pulls the trigger, and it's empty. He wasted his only good bullet trying to shoot Joey, and that's a great scene. Oh, such a good scene. And then of course the scene with Joey when they're in the elevator. And then when they don't know what's going on, they just know that the place is empty, and they start finding like it's a little bit of blood here and there, but for the most part, it's all empty. And they're in the elevator, like there's like something jumps and hits or whatever, makes it bump, and then like the music starts coming on and it starts going dun, 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 and they go, "What was that?" And Joey just stops and listens for a minute and goes, "The girl from Ipanema." And it's like it's in the trailer for the movie, so if you watch the trailer, you'll see it. But that was actually really funny to me. I love that. Yeah, that whole scene's good. But yeah, the special effects are bad. They are very bad, right? But that's okay. Yeah, it is. Because it's a monster chase movie. It is a monster chase movie. And so, like, you don't watch monster chase movies for good special effects. You watch them for shit like Friday the 13th. And we are talking about, a movie from 1998, right? So it's not like they had the best CGI, out there. Yeah. But yeah, it's, dude, it's... I love Deep Rising. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this movie is so awesome!" Oh yeah, yeah, it's really great. And an interesting thing about this movie, right, is that they saved the monster till the end,
Yeah.
which is completely unnecessary because throughout the whole movie they're being chased by the tentacles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And tentacles, they're going all over the ship. They're like ripping up sometimes to the floors. They're busting down doors. And then you get to like the cargo hold of the ship or whatever, which is where you find all the bodies. So as the tentacles suck people up, I'm assuming it sucked them up and it went through the tentacle into like the main body, which then I guess as it went through, it kind of like secretions or whatever broke down all the stuff, like, you know, the flesh and everything else.
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
just find like these like gooey looking, like goo covered bones
Yeah.
everywhere in the cargo hold, which is where the squids come up. So it's kind of busted through the bottom of the ship, is trapped in like the big cargo section, whatever, and then there's all this like big sea of like goo covered bones. And then we see the squid, which is completely unnecessary because the tentacles are scary enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Seeing the
there's a threat.
squid, right, doesn't make the tentacles any less dangerous or anything else. So saving the monster to the end is just like, okay, but you've already given me enough of the monster anyway. It'd be, you know, that's like if all you saw in like a Friday the 13th movie was just an arm and a machete.
Yeah.
Then in the end we see Jason, like, yeah, but the arm and the machete, that's really the dangerous part anyway. So now I see the hockey covered face, I'm like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think
I was already scared.
I mean, I think it kind of works because, like, seeing the squid itself just kind of adds to it because you're like, oh man, you know, they can't fix the ship. Everybody's dying left and right. Could it possibly get any worse? And then you actually see what the tentacles are attached to, and it's like, yeah.
And it is a monstrous squid.
Oh, it is horrific.
And of course, as everyone kind of gets, you know, starts to die off and stuff, and you know, because the squids, the tentacles are getting them, and then of course you've got like the last three people to survive and stuff, and it takes a really interesting turn where their ship can't be salvaged, the Argonautica can't be salvaged, they're stuck in the middle of the sea and nobody knows they're there. Right, and so even if they make it off the ship, they're still going to die.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously they do make it off the ship and stuff. And Deep Rising is just, it's awesome.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
awesome. And so they came out with a special edition of this on Blu-ray, and I'm sitting there and I'm like at Blu-ray.com, and it's like, being released in November, like Deep Rising, boom. I'm like, what? Like glass is cracking, like dogs are going, and I'm like, shh, I'm buying that special edition Blu-ray Deep Rising. I think it's the first time it's been released on Blu-ray. I was like, shut up and take my money. And they did.
Oh, they did.
Well, they didn't take my money. They gave me a solid product that I loved. That I was like, I can't wait to show Acomi.
It was worth every penny.
Yeah. So Deep Rising. And then we get to the worst part about Deep Rising to me. The absolute worst part about Deep Rising is the ending.
Yeah.
So in the end of Deep Rising, and hopefully we're thinking about the same thing. End of Deep Rising, Finnegan and Trillian get away, and they blow up the ship, which kills the squid and everything. But they get away on a jet ski, and they end up finding this deserted island right in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And of course Joey is dead because he blew up on the ship, and because I think he actually got trapped by the squids in one part. And so it kind of cuts to the next day. The waves are lapping up on the beach, and you find Trillian and Finnegan and Trillian, and of course the jet ski is out of gas, which it wouldn't really matter anyway. They're not going to get too far on just that.
Right.
And then she's like, I see something, and then here comes Joey riding in on a surfboard, not surfing, but like lying flat on the surfboard, just coming in. And it's like, I thought I was gonna be dead, and the ship blew up, and then I almost got hit in the head by one of your surfboards and stuff. And he's doing his whole spastic thing, and they're like, Joey, and it's like, fine, I won't say anything, and so they're like, okay. And then there's this sound, and it's just like monsters are, "Arr!" and all the birds go flying away from the island, and then it just pulls back, and you see trees on the island being laid flat as if something is stomping through, and you hear this noise and everything, and then Finnegan goes, you're like, now what? So whatever's going on, right, is there's some kind of big creature on that island, or big creatures on that island they're trapped on. It's not a very big island either.
Yeah.
And whatever created those apparently also created the giant squid. but there's no sequel.
Yep, no sequel at all.
And so it just ends with like, and you're like, okay, I want to know. I want to see Monster Chase movie part 2.
Yes.
And we've got a great lead in for it, and we've got nothing. We got nothing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't seen Kevin J. O'Connor in anything in a long time. I haven't seen Treat Williams in shit in a long time. Famke Janssen, I'm sure she wouldn't turn it down for, the right money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else is dead, so you really only need those 3 people back.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get them like a $10 million like budget. Bam, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me my sequel. And special effects nowadays aren't. You could use that $10,000 and give me the same special effects from before, and it's going to stretch that budget out a lot further. Right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, give me my Deep Rising sequel. I don't know what you would call it, because it wouldn't be Deep Rising. It would be
I don't know.
I don't know, whatever. But
it couldn't really be called Monster Island either.
Monster Island Rising.
Huh.
Yeah, so I would go with that. Monster Rising, Deep Monster Rising,
Island Rising.
Yeah, Deep Event Rising, whatever. Anyway,
Monster Horizon.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like it. I love the lead in to a sequel that never transpired.
Yeah, I would like to see the sequel for sure.
And Stephen Sommers has not done anything since the Mummy movies. So,
I think a lot of that is like the studio. I'm sure that like the director and even the actors would be into doing a sequel.
Probably.
And I imagine that like the studio is just not going to let it happen.
Okay, so Stephen Sommers wrote and directed the adaptation of Odd Thomas from the Dean Koontz books, which starred Anton Yelchin, I believe. Which his death is so tragic. I can't watch much Anton Yelchin stuff. Not because he was like a great, I was a huge fan of his or whatever. It's just, I enjoyed the stuff he was in, and then it's just like, that's just tragic.
Yeah.
Dude. But anyway,
wow, Stephen Sommers did the Huck Finn movie.
But do you see? He also did the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Do you see what that is playing Mowgli?
No.
Look harder.
It's awfully blurry.
Look harder. You ready for this?
Sure. Oh wow.
Yeah. Jason Scott Lee from Dragon to Bruce Lee story played Mowgli.
Holy shit.
Is that Lena? Yeah, Lena Headey.
Oh
my god. That's a spicy meatball right there. Oh man. And then it's Jason Fleming again.
And is that John Cleese?
Yeah, I think that is John Cleese.
John Cleese, Sam Neill? Wow. I never watched this Jungle Book remake. I always just watched the Disney animated Jungle Book. But I actually liked the Disney version of Huck Finn.
You know what? Lena Headey, I love her. I mean, she's kind of awesome. She looks great, whatever. But I mean,
Carrie Ellis.
Yeah, if I ever had the chance to get it on with Lena Ellis, I would take some slow mo just to prolong that shit forever. Oh man. So you've seen Dread, right?
No, not yet.
Oh well, there's this drug called slow mo, which is awesome. Captain Aperture. We watched it at his house.
Nice.
Never seen it again. So, yeah. G.I. Joe Retaliation. Ugh, those G.I. Joe movies. Ugh, those G.I. Joe movies.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of those.
I
don't want to watch those until I watch some of the classic cartoons.
Dude, you gotta watch the G.I. Joe classic cartoons.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're timeless and they're super important to our culture. So I really want to watch them.
So I told you about the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, right?
I feel like you did, but I'm kind of blanking on what it was.
Crappy Movie February?
Crappy Movie February. Okay, it's ringing a bell.
All right, so me and a friend, including Stax, right? We used to, get together and we would go to the Dollar Theater back when we still had a Dollar Theater here. And one February, we went and we saw Punisher Warzone, The Mist, Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and The Spirit, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and that was all in February, and we dubbed it Crappy Movie February because all those movies fucking sucked, right? They all sucked. Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, right? We were supposed to go see it, and I picked it because Roger Ebert had given it a good review. And he said, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, is exactly what you expect it to be. You got a tomb, you got a dragon, you got emperor, right? and
what more could you want?
Right.
Out of a movie.
So we were going to go see it. We were all set to go see it. So let me explain. We were we had gone to see, I think, Punisher Warzone, right? And we watched it and it was like, oh my god, this movie is horrible. And Punisher Warzone is such a bad movie. I mean, when you get to like the end of the movie with like the fights and everything, there is an entire like gang of people that disappears in their like whole like game of death. You've got to go through like all the different gangs to get to the top kind of thing, right? There's one gang that completely disappears. And I'm like, wait, the Punisher doesn't kill him. The mobs doesn't kill him. Like, these guys were there. Did they just like back out? Nobody's, anyway, whatever. It's a really bad movie, right? And we're just like, okay, what the hell? And then we saw The Mist, which is also a bad movie,
it's
right?
It's pretty bad,
It is bad. And some people love The Mist. I'm like,
it's better than the book.
I like the book more. But at the same time, this is one thing I don't like. And I know a lot of this is human nature, right? But when you're in an environment like that, right?
Yeah.
And so here's the crazy woman in town. Like, she's crazy. Oh, don't let out crazy. And then she starts spouting crazy shit. And you're like, maybe she's not crazy after all. Right? Okay.
We're being punished by God.
Right? And then she starts to like, we've got to sacrifice whatever her stupid shit is. Okay, but fuck that. I'm killing you. I'm straight up killing you. Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna fucking silverback, like dominate this thing,
Just start thumping on your chest and pounding the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna assert dominance right now, and then the whole feud with like Thomas Jane's character. There we go, Thomas Jane again, right? Mm-hmm. And Andre Braugher when he's like, yeah, why don't you show us this thing? Is like, no, I'm so mad at you for what you did to my fence or whatever the fuck it was. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like, it's like I gave you blintzes to paint my fence. Those blintzes were lousy. Paint my fence. So, sorry. I don't think we can ever go in anything without a Simpsons reference.
Yeah.
But anyway, and that whole thing was just kind of, I'm like, oh, come on. Is everybody in this movie a fucking moron?
Yes, yeah, because it's a Stephen King book. So
right, and I will say the creatures were pretty scary looking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they were very Lovecraftian. But that scene with the bugs getting into the store.
Oh, dude, when they went into the pharmacy.
Oh yeah.
And the spiders. Fuck that.
Yeah.
All right, so and I know this is not a podcast about about The Mist, right? But we're here, so we're gonna deal with it.
It is a podcast about like monster chase movies, so it kind of works.
And just
I apologize about my voice right now because I'm eating some peanuts. So
put those nuts in your mouth.
Always do.
Honey roast.
I like them salty, salty sweet.
So anyway, I mean, okay, some weird shit's happening, right? And like all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Well, maybe she's not crazy." No, fuck that. She's been crazy this whole time, right? At no point during the time you've known her has she ever been lucid. Don't be like, oh, maybe she's not so crazy. Like, no.
Wait a minute, you mean God might be doing all this? That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's going to punch... And wait. If you're God's chosen one, why are you not being spared? Shouldn't, like, somebody come in and be like, you, let me take you out. Fuck the rest of you. I mean... Which I just have to say, if an angel... I'm not trying to be blasphemous here, but if an angel was like... You are all being saved. You are the children of God, and He cares for you. The rest of you can all burn in fucking hell. I mean, in that voice, I'd be like, wow. It's like...
I would hope that like the angel would look like Keanu Reeves in that case.
He's like, you got heavenly served. So, but anyway, I'm like, no. But all that, and then of course, she's like, turns like, he is a non-believer. Like, what the fuck? Like, no. And then the icing on the cake, right? The icing on the cake is at the very end when he's the last person alive after everything else, right?
Yep.
And he steps out there and the monster's coming. He's like, kill me, right? He doesn't say that, but he's like, kill me. And it's like, no, it's the military. It's the military. We've been saved. And then there's the woman from the store who's like, won't any of you guys be a gentleman and walk a lady to her car? There's fucking monsters out there. You can throw that chivalry shit in the trash, bitch. Right?
Sorry, Brenda. Most of us want to live here.
Right? We live in Maine, not the South. It's like, we're not chivalrous, right? And in the end, there she is looking down at him like, you should have walked me to my car. I'm like, fuck you, bitch! You know, I'm prepared to die! You want to bring it? Fucking bring it! You know? I'm like, that to me was like, oh, come on. Really? Really? You gonna do this to me?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So anyway, so that was the other movie from Crappy Movie February, right? Then we watched The Spirit. In which case Stax tells me, right, at the end, he's like, at 3 different times in this movie, I was gonna leave him to you and be like, look, this movie sucks, I gotta go. he stuck it out, right? But at the part when they're fighting and like Samuel Jackson's character is like, toilets are always funny, Stax is just like, no, they're not. So it came time to watch Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. We were all set to go, right? And it was kind of my pick. And I ended up being sick. And I couldn't go. They go and they see the movie. And they're like, you motherfucker. How could you stick with this movie, right? And well, it wasn't my fault. And the thing is, right? There's one point in it when they're getting helped out by these Yetis, right?
Okay.
These Yetis show up to help, like, Rick O'Connor and all of them, you know, fight off the bad guys, and they're fighting the undead, like Japanese or Chinese, like terracotta warrior soldiers, and the one Yeti like kicks one of the terracotta soldiers, and there are these like gates or like posts around like the tomb or whatever that they're at.
Yeah.
Because I think they're in the Himalayas. And one of them is like this like square Y-shaped, right? So it kind of looks like a field goal.
Yeah.
And he kicks the one guy and he goes flying between the 2 poles. And the other Yeti lifts up his arms like, it's good!
Oh,
and because Stax was like, wait, it's like, don't tell me. He's like, oh, God, no.
I was afraid you were going to say that like the arms went up.
Yes, they did on the Yeti.
And man.
Before football was ever a thing, right? And it was just like, wow. And Stax was like, no. He's like, how did you stick us with that movie? And you stayed home. I'm like, I was sick, dude. It's not my fault. So Crappy Movie February, Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and then when it was Stax's birthday, I bought him that for his birthday. And like when he was opening up, he was like, you motherfucker. And because it was a gift, he can never get rid of it.
Of course.
It always has to be in his collection. So when somebody was looking at his DVD collection, which is very small because he doesn't buy movies the way I do, right? So he's got like, Ben-Hur, Raging Bull, what is that? Chinatown, Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. No, I'm sorry. I didn't buy him that. I bought him a copy of The Spirit. Because he loved The Spirit so much. I bought our friend Scott. I bought him the Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. And I bought Stax the Spirit because he loved it so much. Man.
See, I still haven't seen The Spirit because I've heard it was so bad. But it's like, that's really disappointing to me. Because I freaking love The Spirit comics. The original Will Eisner ones that like he wrote and drew and all that and did everything on, those were friggin' brilliant. If you haven't read those, I highly recommend them.
So I will say this about The Spirit, right?
Yeah.
Frank Miller directing and wrote the screenplay, so you would expect it to be pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It has a very attractive cast. Scarlett Johansson, Eva Mendes, this woman named Paz. Shit, I can't remember. She played like, was it Plaster of Paris, whatever. It's got like a nice looking women in it. Scarlett Johansson looks really nice in it.
Oh yeah, well she looks nice in most of what she does.
Frank Miller directing it like Sin City, to where it was all green screen backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
That was not good at all. That wasn't a good choice. There's one point where the spirit, right, is walking around. Oh, and Stana Katic, who was in the TV series Castle with Nathan Fillion.
Okay.
So anyway, at one point, the spirit is trying to find Eva Mendes's character, right? And all he has is a Xerox butt print from where she was sending the Xerox. I don't even remember. I've seen it once, but I just remember that part. And he's taking it around, showing it to the doorman in these different hotels to see if he can, if they can find her. And only one doorman recognizes the butt print and tells him, like, who's, they're like, yeah, I've seen her or whatever, right? So I'm going to ask you, Acomi, what is so special about this doorman that he remembered her butt?
Maybe he's just a butt man.
Well, it could be, but that'd be like, let's say 50 to 80% of, men, right? And maybe women.
Yeah.
So, it's considering how many didn't, what makes this guy so special?
Maybe he's got, like, photographic memory.
Nope. I mean, it could be, but that's not, they don't say anything about that.
You mean from, like, a story perspective? Like, the character himself?
The character himself.
What would differentiate him from the others?
Right. That, and to where he would remember that butt as where the other ones wouldn't.
This is going to sound crazy, but is it because he's black?
And this is going to be the last episode of So Our Moms Think We're Funny. Coming up next, So Our Moms Think Acomi's racist. Wow. Holy shit.
I mean, you seem to be asking some leading questions. I don't know.
I wasn't leading in that direction. Holy shit. I mean, I know you had like a shaved head, but I didn't think you were fucking racist Bane. Was it called his blood?
I thought about doing it in the Bane voice. But,
you should have. At least I could then forgive you. Oh my god. I mean... Wow.
Sorry, I thought that's what you wanted me to say.
You thought I wanted you to be racist.
No, I thought you wanted me to acknowledge that the movie was racist.
Do you give up?
Yeah, I gave up a long time ago.
It's because the doorman is a little person.
Okay, so that's okay.
And that's why he remembered her butt, is because it was at eye level.
At eye level, yeah.
Come on.
So instead of being racist, the movie's making fun of little people.
Which is in its full form of version of racist.
It's small person racism. You can't be racist against small people. This isn't Game of Thrones.
I look at butts and I know things.
So you would have been okay with me saying, is it because he was a midget? But it's not okay for me to go, was it because he's black? I mean,
yes, I would have been okay with that, because that would have been the right answer.
I mean, it sounds like the filmmakers are bad people either way.
I'm like, so let's say we were in school, it was like, unfortunately, Johnny, that's the wrong answer. Anyone else can tell me why, 25 times 3 is not 12, right? It's like, why Johnny thinks that's 12? Is it because he's black? No, it's actually because he's illiterate and he can't count. That was the correct answer. But thank you for being racist. I appreciate that so much. I guess next you're going to say, why were there no black people on Baywatch? Because black people can't swim, right? It's like, we have way too many dead lifeguards. We need to stop hiring the black people. Either that or give them 2 flotation devices. Make them go out in like pairs when they go to rescue somebody. Wow. Oh my goodness. Our friendship has taken a turn.
It wasn't me, it was the filmmakers. I thought they were the ones profiling.
Yeah, so anyway, yes, it is because the doorman is a little person. And so apparently he doesn't recognize faces, he only recognizes asses. So
good for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
I guess asses and crotches too.
I don't know. I mean, I have a friend who, when he said when he was in high school, he could recognize chicks by their butts.
Well, okay, that's different though. Because I'm sure he spent a lot of time staring at their asses for some pretty decent reasons. Right? Being the fact that he probably liked asses. You know? Did he ever tell you it was because he liked asses?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a butt man.
Oh, of course. I mean, because, you know, if you like big butts, then you can't lie. Really, you just gonna let that go?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Well, I thought you were at least gonna like we were gonna do like a nice Humpty dance thing like we did before in a podcast, but no, you're just like, nope, nope, not getting that one again. I don't want to be accused of being racist again.
It's not touching that one.
There's that line that said the other brothers can't deny, so I don't want you to think, you know. And I would just countered that with, you know, white boys got to shout, baby got back. But no, he's just gonna, you know, like a banana hammock gonna leave me hanging. Gotcha. Right on. So anyway, let's get back to Stephen Sommers and Deep Event Horizon. So anyway, so he hasn't done anything in a while except for I think he just was like the producer of Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and then he did Odd Thomas, and he hasn't really done anything since then, which is surprising. You'd think he has some other movies or whatever, or maybe he's just riding high off that mummy money.
That mad mummy money.
Yeah. Which, of course, you know what that makes me think of, right?
Teen Titans?
Yes, Teen Titans Go. Mummy money. Gotta go boat, gotta go car. Oh, so I like Deep Rising. I didn't own it yet, so I am glad that I do have it on Blu-ray. And I thought the Blu-ray transfer was really good too.
Yeah,
the sound was good. So I was really happy with that, and I dig it. I'm glad you dug it too.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So that's Deep Rising. Our take on it. You know, let us know what you think, either of our take, or if you're like, hey, that movie sucked ass, and you guys suck ass for liking it, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm just like, hey, dude, again, it's a great monster chase movie.
Oh yeah,
you know? And I don't mean to define it by well, I'm gonna say, you know, I really like it, but I'm gonna say, well, it's a good monster chase movie. So I don't seem like, no, I mean, again, it's not a great movie, but it is a great monster chase movie. When you go into a movie like that, it's like, you know, it's like when you go into like a Friday the 13th movie and stuff, it's like, is this going to win any Academy Awards? No. Is it really good? Like we were talking about, what's our favorite like Friday the 13th movie?
Jason X.
Jason X is the shit.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's just because it's so bad, it's bad, right? and it makes it's got certain scenes in it that are like, you know what? Yeah. I'm all about that.
I would venture to say, you could say that about most of the Friday the 13th movies, but when it comes to Jason X, it is so bad, it's beautiful.
Yeah, It
is just a thing of beauty.
I think it's one of those things where it's so bad that, I mean, you can recognize someone of your ilk, right? If you were in like a room full of people and you were to just go, it's okay, he just wanted his machete back, right? Everybody that laughs are like, those are my people, right?
Absolutely.
Because they know, you know, and the other people are like, what, or whatever. And it's like, it's a great way of like, you know, defining and differentiating, you know, who's like me and who's not,
yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know if I told you, I actually made friends with a cashier because of my Jason Goes to Hell shirt.
Really?
Yeah, which, I mean, you know, the shirts that we got from the Sacred Mountain people at SuperCon. Yeah, we bought boxes of shirts, and all the shirts are like based off of movie posters from really obscure films, or I don't know if obscure is really the right word, but like lesser known films.
Yeah, B movies and stuff like that. Because we got wasn't Goonies? It wasn't. Was it Critters?
Critters, yeah.
Critters, like Revenge of the Ninja.
Revenge of the Ninja, yeah, I wear that one all the time.
Phantasm 2.
Yep. Nightbreed.
Oh yeah, Nightbreed.
Demons.
Yep.
And of course, Jason Goes to Hell. So yeah, I was wearing my Jason Goes to Hell shirt one night, and my cashier at the grocery store was like, "Oh my god, that's the best one! I love that one." And I'm just like, "Well, I mean, I kind of prefer Jason X, but yeah, it's a hell of a movie."
And was it no, it was Holy Mountain because it's named after the Jodorowsky Holy Mountain.
Right.
Holy Mountain had great T-shirts, and SuperCon, and we got it was a mystery pack.
Yeah.
Was it?
It's like
It wasn't $40. We paid like $25.
It was $6 a shirt, so it was like 5 shirts for $30, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. They were really good to us because we were like sitting here, we were like, you want to just try a box? And we're like, okay, sure. So we both got one. We take it back to the table. We open it up and it's like, all right, I got a cool shirt here. Yeah, I don't really care for this one. Oh, dude, I would have paid full price for this. So then I got another one. Oh, yes. And we sat there for maybe 2 minutes. We're like, you want to go try another box? We're like, yeah, let's go try another box. So we go back and we get another box and we're like, hey, so since you guys are exhibitors here, if you guys get any duplicates, right? Just bring them back and we'll swap them out for one that you don't have, Not something we do for everybody, but since you guys are, exhibitors here and you've got a booth in it. So we go back and we open it up. We get a couple of duplicates. I trade with Acomi one that I have that he doesn't have and likewise. Yep. And when it was done, we both had a shirt that we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
And so we take them back and unfortunately I end up getting the shirt that you wanted, but I had to jump on that.
That's totally cool because yes. I totally understand. I don't even remember what shirt it was now. But...
It was it's a Lone Wolf and Cub T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
But it's the samurai. Shit, it's the one that they talk about in Kill Bill 2 when BB wants to watch a movie and she's like, "Can we watch?" Samurai, whatever it is, and he's like, "No, that's too long," and she's like, "No, it's not."
Was it Samurai Revenge?
No, it's like
no, I was thinking Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah, anyway, and they watched that, and so that was one of the ones. They only had one of it because they went through all the other like mystery boxes.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
They went through every box for me. They were so nice about it.
Yeah, and they had that one. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the one from Kill Bill. I was like, it was like one custard pie. Let me have it. So I jumped right on that one, and then what was the other one you got? It was
geez, I don't even remember.
And these mystery boxes were from
that was the Nightbreed one that I got then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these mystery boxes were the ones that were that they were no longer doing. So it was like they were no longer making any more of those. They were from like previous years.
Yeah.
And so they were kind of blowing those out. And they had some really cool ones for that new ones they made that year. I think they had a bunch of Godzilla ones, like Japanese version of Godzilla's and stuff.
Yeah, they've really been getting into that because I got that coffee mug that had Godzilla on it too.
And didn't they have a Japanese Evil Dead 2 shirt?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were both like, oh, I want it. And we were both like, we're really out of budget.
Yeah. So
completely broken.
I'm looking forward to SuperCon this year.
Oh yeah.
And if we can get the Richmond SuperCon, that'd be really nice too.
Oh yeah.
So do 2 SuperCons. But anyway, so yeah. So anyway, so yeah, you say movies like that really kind of help you find, especially when we're talking about like an environment they were in where we're talking about pop culture, comics, movies, this and that kind of stuff. Not everybody in there is you, and you have to kind of find those people that are a little bit more like you than everyone else there.
Yeah.
And then, something like Jason X helps to define that. Be like, yep, that's it. It's like...
Oh, yeah. And Jason X helps define that a little more acutely than something like, say, Scott Pilgrim would. Because I think Scott Pilgrim kind of has a universal appeal to it. Where, like, there's going to be a lot of people who I can, make Scott Pilgrim references with who are also going to be, like, furries on DeviantArt. It's like... Yeah, so at what point in this conversation did you realize that our talk was going to suck?
Yeah.
Pretty early on? Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to find those certain ones that, that really kind of help pinpoint that it's, like you're waving your likability, like metal detector around, like, beep, 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 Like, yes.
Yeah, it's the more niche stuff for sure. It's like, yeah, well, everybody likes One Punch Man, but how about Freddy versus Jason, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so I love the movie. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, give it a watch.
Absolutely.
Deep Rising is it's so much fun to watch.
It really is, yeah. It's definitely a good, like, late night popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And, it's not something that's, like, gonna challenge you or, like, make you rethink your life, like Fight Club. It's just a fun, mindless movie.
And, I think one of the interesting things about it is, with the exception of the couple of different lines I said, which aren't really one-liners, they're more of just, like, like, parts that are really interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any one-liners in it.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
So it's just kind of, it stands up as memorable on its own merit.
Yeah.
There is that speech that Finnegan gives about the guy that puts the fish in the bottle and corks it and then tosses it to the baby squid.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
So the characters, and we're running kind of late on this cast here, but the characters lock themselves in the kitchen. Someone was saying we need to stay here until like help arrives or whatever, and the other was like, we need to get out of here. It's like, no, we've got food here, we got this and that. And Finnegan again just being completely calm through the whole thing, and he just says, I know a guy once, or I saw a guy once, took a fish, or I think it was a fish or whatever, and he put it in a bottle and then corked it tight. And he tossed it to a baby squid. And he's like, and the squid felt all over that bottle, and he just felt around it and everything. And then with a couple minutes, not only he had the cork out of it, but he had gotten into, like, he got his whole body into the bottle. And like, what's your point there? And I think it's Famke Janssen's character Trillian, and she goes, "We're the bottle."
Yeah.
And it's like, and as they're talking, because they're in the kitchen, and there's this stove, the vent over the stove, and they all start looking at the one guy's at Jason Fleming's character, and he's like, "What? And his tentacles come down through the vent in the stove, and so again, that's not a one liner. It's not something you just toss out there to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's got no one. It doesn't have any one liners. It stands up on its own merit of just like memorable scenes and stuff like that. I mean, you can't even say like a Joey, you asshole. It's like it was like, that doesn't just differentiate, you asshole. That's from Deep Rising. Like, no, this guy's just really an asshole.
Yeah, it just makes you seem like you hate the person.
So, like I say, it just kind of stands up on its own merit. And by the way, if you guys have never seen footage of a squid like getting into a bottle, I saw a video once, and I'm sure you can find on YouTube, of where these sailors had pulled this squid aboard a ship.
Yeah.
And on the side of the ship was like, they've got like I'm sure they have actual technical names, but you just had like the little like hole in the rail.
Yeah.
Where the deck, so when water washes over, it can go back out. And this squid's a decent size, and this hole is really small. And if you watch, it just slowly just pushes its body through that tiny hole. And it is probably one of the most disgusting things you've ever seen.
It's very creepy.
Because, they don't have any bones. They're an invertebrate, but they're just squishing themselves through this thing. And it's like if you were to somehow get a human being into a tube of toothpaste and then just slowly squeeze them out. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
It completely natural, but it's like, ugh. It's disturbing to watch.
Very.
And imagining one of them somehow squeezing its way into a bottle. But anyways, yeah. So Deep Rising, I say check it out. I'm not going to tell you need to rush out and buy it. But I think that once you watch it, if you're like us, you enjoy like these kind of movies and this kind of stuff. Hopefully you do if you listen to our podcast. You'll want to buy it after. You may not want to pay the same price I paid for mine, but I think you will be like, hey, when this gets to a decent enough price, I will toss that in my collection.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
All
right. Well, yep. So that is another episode of Our Moms Think We're Funny.
Yep.
So thanks everybody for giving us a listen. Be sure to check in later. We've still got some pretty interesting topics we're going to be covering. I've learned about some interesting things in the history of the internet that I'm looking forward to getting into.
Excellent.
We still have to finish our overview on the life of Christian Weston Chandler, things like that. So yeah, we're definitely not running dry on topics at all yet. So.
And for the next month, if you do contribute to our Patreon page, that money is going to go to the NAACP for Acomi's racist rant to make up for that as a donation.
Racist rant? Well, bye everybody.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
We don't like you kind around these parts.
Well, I hope you're prepared to burn the sheets.
I wouldn't go that way if I was you.
Bye, everyone.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.